Hello, I'm Karen, and in today's video I'm actually going to be sharing with you how to actually crochet one of my Bell Fairies. Okay, I'm going to do an introduction video before this to explain a little bit more about them, but I couldn't actually show you them stood up on the video like this. I have to do my video at a different angle to be able to show you those, and I need all the different colours to be able to go, because I've actually made a little song to go with them as well. Excuse me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring you this piece here. This is what I call the fairy's soul. Okay, and this is actually able to walk around. You can play games with it just as it is, but I just wanted to show you that we're going to actually be, where's my other piece? There it is. We're actually going to start off by making the head and the body, then we're going to make the arms and the legs, and I'm doing videos to show how to do their faces as well. As you can see, I'm not the best. I'm going to bring the other fairies in. Not the best at doing faces, but I've got so much better, and my daughter actually approves of these, and this is actually my daughter's fairy that she requested. Okay, so I'm just going to put those out of the way, and we will start. I'm actually going to be using a 4mm crochet hook, which is a G6 in the US. I'm using a different brand of sparkly yarn that I normally do, which if I just show you these two, you can just see that this one here, if I put them side by side, the new yarn is slightly smaller than my old yarn. Okay, and that means that your actual fairy is going to be a little bit shorter, or roughly the same size as your crochet hook when she's made. I say she, it's not, I don't mean to be, they look like girls with the dresses on, but let's not go into that. I don't want to go into that. So we're going to be making this. So to start off with, we need I always leave a nice long tail end, which is a little bit longer than my crochet hook, just for sewing in. I'm going to begin with a twist, and then we need to do a chain of 2. That's 1, 2. Now we're going to work the same stitch all the way through, which is a single crochet if you're in the US, a double crochet if you're in the UK, a maille serrée if you're in France, and a punto basso if you're in Italy. And now we need to work 6 stitches into the first chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got a squeak going off, and I haven't brought my talcum powder, which I would have recommended to stop that. But I shall continue. Okay, so now we need to work 2 stitches in each stitch till we've got a total of 12. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. I'm just going to get myself some more yarn ready. On the next round we need to increase again, and we're going to increase by what we do is we're going to work 1 single crochet and then 2 in the next, all the way around like this. Okay, so we've actually done, that's 1, 2, 3. The increase is always going to be on the 3 times table on this round. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. At this point I'm going to pull the tail end tight to close up that hole there, and then I'm going to wrap the tail end over. This is the tail end. Wrap this over to use as a marker. Get my tension again, put this marker point right over here so you can still see your stitches. And I'm going to count my stitches again for this round just to make sure I've got my 18, because we need to make 3 rounds of 18, but I'm going to show you a little tip. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, excuse me, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. And as you can see, we've come out just before this tail end, so we've got our 18 stitches. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do to make it easier as I count my rounds now is I'm actually going to work into this next stitch so that I can see that round 1 is finished just above this tail end, and that means that I can work for the next 2 rounds without actually counting. And I can actually say, for those people that comment on people's crochet videos and say, why do these women count along, and have you ever tried counting while you've got somebody counting over your shoulder, and silly little things like that? The answer to that question is, the reason why we count is so that we know where we are. We're also trying to teach you so you know where you are, and we find that that's a helpful thing. And so to be able to teach somebody what they want to make, you need to be able to count. So realistically, I suppose our videos are designed for you to crochet along the first time round if you want to, or you can just sit and watch the video and then crochet along, or you can actually switch off the volume if you don't want to listen to the counting at that particular point. Okay, so I've actually made it so I've now got 2 rows above this tail end. So I think realistically, when those people make those comments, they actually haven't really thought about it. And I know we're all guilty of doing things without thinking, because I've actually just done the same thing. While I've actually spent, I don't know how many hours actually writing out the patterns to be able to make not just my fairies, but actually I've actually got a whole set of accessories to go with them. And I decided that I was going to change my name of my shop, because I thought, oh, it doesn't link very well to my YouTube channel. However, as soon as I did it, someone said, are these patterns still available on your Etsy? And I was like, oh dear. And I realised that my Etsy channel couldn't be found. So I've actually created a little advert for my Etsy channel with its old name on it, and I've requested that my new name gets returned. Okay, so please bear with me with that. Okay, so now we've got our 3 rows of 18. Okay, now we're going to actually do reducing now. So what we want to do is I like to pull my tail end up, move this tail end from out of the middle there, and put this back here, because I want to make sure I go down to 12 stitches. And the way that we do down to 12 stitches is we work 1 single crochet or double crochet or maceray, or what was it, a punto basso. So we do 1 and then we work 2 together, so that's 2 stitches, and we need to go down to 12. So this one is 3, 2 together is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, and as you can see my 12th stitch is coming out just before that tail end, so I know that I'm actually correct with my counting. And now for the next round we need to work 2 single crochet 2 together all the way around till we've got a total of 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's getting smaller, I've got to make sure I don't accidentally catch the other side. 5, and one more is the 6th stitch. Okay, at this point, this is where I pull this tail end up and I put my finger over it, and just to know that I don't lose that end. This end's already, my tail end's already out of the way, and I'm going to get some stuff in. And this, I know normally with amigurumi they stuff quite tightly, and on these fairies they don't need to be stuffed tightly, they need to be soft and squidgy because for their actions, because you want to be able to make them be expressive with where the position everything is. Sorry, move those out of the way. So I like to fill it and squidge it. It's not quite bursting out of there, but if I can actually make it into a cube, and I think that's, and I've got my other one to compare, I might put a tiny bit more in there, just a tiny bit more, just so that I've got enough in there. Okay, now for the next 2 rounds we just need to work all the way around, so we've actually got 6 stitches. Now this hole here is going to get smaller and we're creating the neck right now. Okay, so we've got to be very careful we don't catch the other side while we're working. So we need to make 6 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And like I said, I needed to make 2 rounds of 6, so I needed to go again. Now I've got to really be careful because that hole's got a lot smaller, you can see. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, excuse me, and 6. Now this is what I say is this is where the magic begins, because right now it looks like a Christmas bauble. Okay, so the next round what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 stitches in each stitch to increase back up to 12, because this is the neck area. Now we're going to make like the collarbone area. So we've got to come in through these stitches and work 2. So I want a total of 12. That's 2, 4, making sure I'm not catching the other side, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Excuse me, I'm just going to get a drink, I'm sorry. My son's got a terrible cough and I think I might have accidentally managed to pick up his germs. Okay, so this round what we're going to do, it'll look like this now. It's a strange looking little thing. We're going to increase again, we're going to go back up to 18. So we need to do, so it'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops a daisy, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now what I'm going to do is going to pull this tail end up, put my finger on this one just so I don't lose this end. We're going to see, when you look where you've actually finished this round here, and this is where the tail end is when we was doing our working out earlier on, and you can see as we move, the actual end of our rows are actually getting further and further away. That's because we're working in a spiral effect. Oopsie daisy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my hook into the hole and to come out into that stitch where I actually tucked this tail end in, and we're going to pull the tail end through the top, and once again I'm going to use this as a marker. There is a method and a reason why I'm doing all of this. I've tried to make sure that every single step along the way is utilised to the best of its advantage while working in the spiral effect. Sorry. Right, so what we want to do now is I want to just crochet, we'll do one stitch in every stitch all the way around just to make sure I've got my 18, because realistically I need 4 rows now of more of 18. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I've come out just before the tail end, so I know that I'm in the correct place. I'm going to move over to be just the 1, so that when I'm counting from now onwards, I'm going to, even though I know that my ends sort of going as a slant, I'm going to keep it going up above. So I've got 1 row above, and I need to have a total of 4 rows. And this is where you don't need to count anymore. You can just crochet around and around until we've got a total of 4 rows. And obviously I'm going to do these 4 rows so that you can actually see how your piece looks, and I'm going to be showing you the tips for stuffing it. And at this point it gives me the opportunity to be able to tell you a little bit about how these fairies actually were created and how they came to be. And they actually happened by accident. I did crochet some fairies a long time ago, and my daughter thought they was really scary, so I didn't share how to do those, even though I spent I don't know how many hours writing out all of the patterns for those. And so they just got put to the one side. And then actually for the beginning of this year I decided I wanted to crochet a little pig, because it's become, for this year's Chinese New Year was actually to celebrate their new year in February, would have been a little pig. But when I tried to crochet my little pig, it was more of a little piglet than an actual pig, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't get it to go right, and just everything I tried to do was just going completely wrong, and I felt like I couldn't even crochet. Everything just went to pot. So I decided that the best thing I could do was actually have a break from everything, and actually went and stayed with my my mum for 8 days. And my mum lives in the middle of nowhere, and in the middle of nowhere there is no internet, and Let me just count. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Just want one more. There's no internet. I have no television. Not that I watch television anyway. There was no radio, and so I had no contact with the outside world. I didn't crochet. I did look at some beautiful crochet things that my mum's got with her collection, but I actually didn't crochet at all. But she did actually give me a little pack of cards, and the little pack of cards was actually some fortune cards. She gave them to me because I've been learning how to do the oracle cards. And so when I got back home, I decided I would research these cards to be able to do a video about them. And one thing went along, led to another, and then all of a sudden I realised that my little piglet could actually be turned into a fairy. So my fairies were born. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got the 4 rows that I've said that we need. Now this is a row where we need to do a reduction, so I'm going to pull the tail end back up, put my finger in it just to hold it so I don't lose it, and I need to get this tail end that's tucked in. I want this tail end to come back out because I'm going to have this just for one more time to count as a marker as I actually go around. You can actually use a separate strand if you like, but this strand actually is going to be tucked in to support the neck. So now I've got to make sure I'm working in the correct stitch, so I'm going to do 1 and then 2 together all the way around, and so it's going to go 1 and then the 2, so actually I've got 2 stitches. So this one's going to be number 3, whoops, and we're going to work 2 together, which creates stitch number 4. This one's number 5. I've got my squeak come back. This one's number 6, number 7. Oops, a daisy, can't go in. There we go. 8, 9, 2 together makes 10, 11, and then the 2 together, which is in the stitch just before the marker, makes 12. Now at this point, this is where I pull the tail end up again. I get the tail end that I've been using as a marker, and if you look, you can see inside there, you can see into there where the hole is. When you've got your work, you'll be able to see it a lot clearer than you can on my video. What we're going to do is we're going to get the tail end and poke the tail end right in to see at the middle. You can see that now, you can still see the tail end, but if you keep tucking at it and pushing it in, it actually all goes in and sits inside the neck area, which helps to give it this maneuverability. So when you've actually done it and it's all gone in, it'll look something like that, if you can see inside there. And then at this point as well, I get some more stuff in and actually stuff this body area, and I want it to be stuffed so that when I squidge it, it wants to sort of, see at the minute it's, you can see it's quite flat, but then as I actually squidge it, you can see it's starting to actually poke back out, and that's how I want it. So it's going to be a soft squidgy amigurumi. Oh, and saying amigurumi again made me realise I haven't said about that being a Japanese word. I don't know why, I always thought it was a Chinese word, but there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my finger in, and I'm working 2 stitches together all the way around to make the, till I've got a total of 6. So that's 1, ooh, really squeaking, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and the last one, number 6. There we go. And then we're going to need the scissors. Oh yes, by the way, that's something else that I actually forgot to write in my crochet pattern. I'm really sorry about that. I forgot to put you need to use a pair of scissors in it. But you've all got common sense, so you'll know. When it says cut off the tail end, it doesn't mean to like bite it off with your teeth. There we go. So there we have the actual head and the body. Okay, and that's what yours should look something like that. In the actual in my actual patterns, I actually have taken a photo of it with it this way around with the tail end still there, just so that you know that, because we're going to sew in the tail end, but because you've got this end as the head and this end's going to be the feet, and it was just so that you can see the difference for that. So I'm going to just thread my darning needle, and say it's almost closed up anyway, so I'm just going to go just do a, oops, I want to pull that through there better, little stitches all the way around, just to tighten up this end and try and make it look a little bit neater as it closes up. Now this isn't going to be the neatest finish that you'll ever get in an amigurumi, but there is a reason why I love this, because this is what helped to actually contribute towards making some of my other items. Okay, so I'm just going to come out of there, I'm happy with that, and cut this off. Whoops. It's rolling away. Okay, so there we have it. So this is, I'm going to end this video now. I was I was thinking that I actually might do the arms and legs together, but because I've got a squeak going off, I'm going to go and get my talcum powder. Okay, and so this is the first stage towards you going. So the next video we're going to be making the arms and the legs, and I will actually show you how to stuff them. I'm not going to crochet them completely, I'm going to show you how to get started, and then I'll show you how to actually sew them to the body, just so that you've got each stage. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thank you for subscribing. I think we'll just have the little pink one in there, just so that you've just got, so you can see what little stages we're going off. Okay, bye for now.